It was just really great to get out there, practice 15, and to wrap up the spring. It was incredible to have our fans out there and the band and the cheer team, and that was something that we were all looking forward to. Just getting back to normal. Our fans are so important to us. The Big Ten Network carrying the game, the exposure for our program, for our young men, just working so hard this spring. I thought it was just a great way to wrap it up. And I felt like we got a lot of work done today, practice 15. We wanted to be efficient. We wanted to get better and continue to gain ground and continue to build in a relentless manner. So I felt like we were able to get a lot accomplished today.
All right, our first question comes from Jim Comparoni at Spartan Mag.
Okay. Hey, Mel, what did you think about the quarterbacks and how Russo played at the end and at the 2-minute drill at the end, and how Thorne played as well as Noah Kim getting some work with the threes?
I tell you what, you can see we have really good competition at that position. I thought all three of those guys that you mentioned, as well as Theo and as Hamp Faye, I thought they all showed some good things. They made some good throws, made some good decisions. I'm sure we had a couple throws we like to have back, but just overall, I thought that we were efficient. They ran the offense, worked the take what the defense gave us, and it was you can see where I feel good about that position. I feel like we're going to have really good production from the quarterback position this season.
And also, Ian Stewart had some big plays. That's a freshman. Looks like he's coming along a little bit.
Yeah, Ian's done a really nice job. He's a very hard worker. We moved him to tight end last season for a little bit. Then we moved him back to receiver. You see, he's got a big body. He's got good hands. He plays really hard, and so it's always good to see those young guys step up and make some plays.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Chris Solari.
No, kind of building off that. Notice that one of the first things you do in going into this practice is come out with kind of a no huddle offensive approach. Is that to set the tempo, or why do you do that?
Well, it's a great way to get the practice going and start with a fast tempo and guys getting the signals, getting lined up, and it's just something that we do quite a bit and that's just kind of the way we operate. So it's just a really good way to get things started.
And I was wondering, obviously you had a lot of offensive linemen out today. Is there any updates on them or any of the other guys who were out?
Yeah, I don't have anything right now. We may have something for you down the road.
Our next question will go to Matt Charbonneau.
Mel, I guess I'm asking a little bit bigger picture now that you've gotten through 15 practices. Obviously, we know you didn't have the spring last year. Can you try and, wrap up what this has meant having these few weeks and where you think your team has grown the most over these last few weeks?
Yeah, I tell you what, the spring practice is a way to, come out of our winter conditioning program and then get on the field and just get better as a football team. We focus on being best condition. We really focus on improving our technique and fundamentals. We want our players to play fast. They play fastest when they know what to do. And so it's about, teaching, motivating, developing. We want our guys to play smart, and so that's, no foolish penalties, just, knowing the tempo of the practice, just real discipline. And then the physicality of the game needs to show up in our spring practice when we had the pads on. And so that was really our focus. It was the aggregation of marginal gains that we kept preaching, just relentlessly, just every day, each guy getting 1% to 2% better each day, every time that we're out. And then if you can do that collectively, that's how you have significant improvements. And so that's what we want to do this spring. Our culture is being cemented right now, our practice culture, on the field and off the field as we grow together as a team. And so I felt like we got a lot done this spring.
Thanks, Mel.
You're welcome.
Our next question will go to Matt Wenzel with M Live.
Hey, Mel, now that spring's all wrapped up, I was wondering if you kind of update us on what the next dates are in the calendar. I assume some guys are going home now, but when summer program starts and fall camp and all that stuff, kind of what's as far as next steps ahead?
Yes, we're going to have finals coming up this next week, and then we'll have 3 discretionary weeks after that. And then we'll start our summer conditioning program, our Spartan training program for the summer. which will expand, about 8 weeks, and then we'll get rolling into camp.
And sorry, I was wondering what you expect to see from the guys as far as now that you've got that whole spring practice in, all 15 in, and going home kind of with an outlook you obviously didn't have last year, and what you want to see them come back to East Lansing with.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I'm having a hard time.
All right, it's a little loud here. I was wondering with you guys getting the 15 practices in you didn't get last year, and the guys now having a little bit of a break, what you expect them, I guess the outlook for them to have for coming back in the summer, now that you had an opportunity to accomplish things you didn't get last year.
Yes, we just want to continue to build and gain ground. Our players know what's expected from them, and we have a standard of performance. And so our guys are going to stay in shape during the discretionary period, and then we'll come back and we'll hit the ground running. We'll pick up where we left off. Continue to work on our schemes, offense, defense, and special teams. Our strength and conditioning, getting bigger, stronger, and faster, and also our team chemistry. And our culture. We'll have some newcomers joining us in May and June, and then they will join our culture, and then we'll move forward together throughout the summer and just get ready for fall camp.
Thanks, Mel.
Yeah, thank you.
Our next question will go to Rainer Saban.
Yeah, Mel, I saw you guys did a few play action deep shots, and it seems that's a big part or emphasis in the offense. How important, though, in order to be able to accomplish that successfully, is it going to be to establish a really good running game?
Yeah, it's very important, and that's a great observation. You need to be able to run the ball and keep the defense honest, and they need to be able to respect your run game, and that makes the play action game a lot more effective.
And going forward, obviously, it seems like with your program, you like to establish some kind of baselines. How important is it to have spring practice, given the fact that you didn't have it last year, to kind of establish baselines for the program going forward to be able to compare development, I guess, in future years?
Yeah, it's critically important because you establish, like you said, the standards of performance. Just how we meet, how we practice, each and every day, just how we continue to gain ground, just in a relentless manner, just getting better in all facets of our game. And you practice, a lot more than you play. And it's important to get those practices in, but that's how we get an opportunity to teach, motivate, and develop our team. And so we made the most of all the 15 practices we had. I feel really good about how efficient we were. I'm really proud of our coaches and really proud of our players.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Next question comes from Eli at the State News.
Hey, Mel, I wanted to ask about the tempo today, just between drills, between phases. I guess just how much of an emphasis has that been to get the tempo and have things fast when you guys are in practice?
Yeah, heavy emphasis on tempo. We want to work with a sense of urgency. Guys need to know where to go and then get there quickly and get the next drill started as fast as possible. And just real, urgency, tempo, that's all part of how we practice. That's our mindset, our mental disposition towards getting things done. You can see that in the first half of the practice. And in the second half of the practice, you can see that we were doing some situational things and moving the ball a little bit. And then we need to take some breaks within that period, because you can see how thin we are at some positions. So especially in the secondary, we had to give some guys some breaks, some extra water, so we could keep going. But I felt like throughout the practice, guys knew what to do. They were disciplined. They were efficient. And when you do that, you work with a sense of urgency, you're able to get a lot done.
And then just following up, Kenneth Walker, we saw him today show a lot of speed, quickness with his speed. Just kind of what can you bring to your offense this season in terms of maybe like a home run potential kind of player?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's a complete player, and I think you can see that today. He does an excellent job running the ball and ball security. He can make guys miss. He runs with power as well, and he does a great job in pass protection. He knows what to do. He's not afraid to step up in there and pick up the blitz and help in pass pro. And then when he's out in the route, if you throw him the ball, he's going to catch it. And so he's a great addition to our football team.
Thanks, Mel.
Yeah, thank you.
Next question comes from Ian at Channel 6.
Hey, Mel, I was just curious, what did you think of how the guys, responded with having a crowd in the stands? And, was there a little extra juice to them you felt like today?
I believe so. you could tell there was a little extra pep in the step. You know, seeing the fans out there. Our fans are so important to us. I mean, they're so passionate about the green and white and Spartan football, and getting out there with the fans and the band, and then, you know, being on the Big Ten Network. It was just getting more to normalcy, and that's what our players expect. You know, here at Michigan State, to play in front of, you know, a packed stadium with just very passionate fans. You know, with the band going, and, you know, being the nationally televised games and things like that. You know, that's what Michigan State football is all about, just playing hard-nosed football, and just everybody moving in the same direction, you know, just pulling, you know, for the Spartans. So it was excellent to see our fans back out there. I was actually excited myself to see the fans out there. It was a great experience for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We have 3 more questions, starting with Paul at the Spartan Mag.
Hey, Mel, thanks for taking the time. Hey, I wanted to ask you about some young defensive linemen that played well today, Jeff Pietrowski and also Simeon Barrow. What have you seen from those guys throughout the spring?
Yeah, Petro he's a hard charging guy, you know, west side of Cleveland guy, you know, and he's comes from a really good football background. He, you know, talk about guys that like football and love football and live it. You know, he's a guy that lives football. It's very important to him, and he, you know, the guy never takes a play off. He's you know, he's a strong guy, and he gives relentless effort. And those are the type of guys that just that's what Spartan football is all about. You know, guys that's hard-nosed, rugged guys that love the game. You know, Barrows continue to get better. You know, he's got some initial quickness. He's stout in the run game. You know, we see where he can really help us and be part of our rotation as long as he continues to get better and just continue to improve. I like what I'm seeing from him.
And then one more, like Cal Halliday looks like maybe he's taking advantage of all the extra reps he's got this spring. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, Cal's got a lot of reps, and again, he comes from a really good background. He's a physical player. He's a smart player. You know, he really loves to play. You know, he's a good teammate. You know, guys respect him the way he works and how physical he is, and he's a guy that, you know, he needs to continue to develop, and that's why it's so important to get these 15 practices in, so these guys can develop, and they can continue to grow, and then we'll take it into the summer, have a really good summer program. I expect to see a better football team going into fall camp.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Next question comes from Ryan with the Only Colors.
Hey, Coach. You mentioned the secondary being thin. I was just curious about what you saw today and throughout the spring from 2 of the mid-year additions who came from a little bit lower competition level, Kendall Brooks and Spencer Rowland, and you know, how you think they're developing, and also your thoughts on the secondary as a whole moving forward.
Yeah, I tell you what, those guys came in, and I think they really fit in well with our football team, because, you know, they have that mindset, that mental disposition towards competing, you know, practicing hard. They're real serious about what they're doing. You know, they take in all the information, and they've gotten better and better, you know, as we've gone. And I'm really glad that they're on our team. I feel like, you know, they're going to be able to help us, and they're going to have a role. They're going to have roles in our team that are just going to really help us overall. You know, the secondary is a group when, you know, you got X Henderson, and you got Michael Dow, you know, Angelo Gross, the guys that have been out there before. You know, Gerv is a guy that's played, and then we're going to add some guys, you know, in May and June. And I feel good about the group of guys that we will have to be able to move throughout the summer and go into fall camp. I feel like we'll be able to play tight coverage, you know, do a good job in zone, you know, make plays on the ball. And so, you know, that's a unit that is going to, this summer is going to be very important for that entire unit, for us to come together and move into fall camp with the confidence that we need to be able to get something done back there.
All right, and our final question today comes from Stephen Brooks.
Hey, Mel. I wanted to ask you, you know, this is the only practice that we've seen. Was this pretty I know you've talked about improving, obviously, every day, but was this pretty representative of the other 14, or did any group or position stand out sort of above their level today, I guess, if that makes sense to you?
Yeah, this is pretty representative, you know, especially the first part of the practice. Just when you start off with the special teams walkthroughs. We also normally have, you know, offensive, defensive walkthroughs. You know, we cut it down a little bit, you know, just to make sure that, you know, we were efficient with our time and we could fit into the window that we had. But, you know, it starts with the walkthroughs, and then we go individual work, and then we do, which will really focus on technique and fundamentals. And then we go to group work, and then we bring it into some 11 on 11. And that's pretty much our progression and how we work.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Coach, that's all we have for you today. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate what you do. Go Green.
And we'll get right into the student athletes here in a second. I believe Drew Beasley will be our first player.